this one. Straight.
This one here? Is this one?
Straight. It is this
No,
one.
it's this one.
It's this one.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the DLLS Cowboys podcast, where today's motto is patch on, clear minds, can't lose.
Let's go.
Salute to CeeDee Lamb, the most selfless player on the Cowboys. He just got them a bunch of cap space so they can be aggressive. What a hero.
We love selflessness.
The Ashton Jeanty dream may be dying in front of our eyes, and Zach Martin is having his goodbye presser today. So many things to go through, and we're going to mock draft. It starts meow.
Nesto.
All right, welcome in, everybody. It's the DLLS Cowboys podcast on whatever day of the week this is, baby.
Hump day.
Is that what day it's
Today's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Therapy
All
day.
right.
Today's therapy day.
Oh, Tuesday's therapy day for me. It was yesterday.
Wednesday's therapy day for me.
Didn't help at all. That's fine, though. That's fine. Yeah, shout out to everybody who's here before the show even starts. You know that we love you for that. Hitting that like button, making sure that you're subscribed. Nesto saying, yep, every time he thinks that he's out, they do something to bring him back in. Yeah, that's right.
You're a victim.
Cowboys are cooking now.
You're a victim, Nesto.
Hold on, roll back. I saw the word tobacco. What did that say? Roll. You having a harder job quitting this team, and Jeff is tobacco. Patch on, clear minds, can't lose. Day 3, baby. I'm
Let's
in a
go.
wonderful mood. Nobody can stop me. Ask what I did yesterday to be productive and fight through. The answer is I found a TV show, binged an entire season, ate an entire bag of pretzels. That is 16 servings. I looked on the bag. It's about 1,800 calories worth of pretzels.
Big pretzels, mini pretzels,
Sticks.
or pretzel sticks?
Sticks.
Okay. Do you go?
Bought some French onion dip too.
You go like a what? Like a
Sometimes. And sometimes I get 3 at a time and French onion dip them. And yeah.
Okay.
Today, we salute you, the super chatters, which I've already seen 2 to get the show going. That's nice of you. And then y'all can afford therapy. Yeah, that's a whole nother show. The world is broken. It's stupid that therapy costs so much. And if you can't afford it, may I suggest a place like NAMI, North Texas, where they do have services that cost $0. But yeah, it's hard out here. It's hard out here. If you don't have the funds, therapy going to run you about $150, $200 a session.
I'm
Sucks.
thankful. People do a lot of bad talking about like the NFL and its benefits. I am one of privilege because they have come around to now they will take care of therapy and the NFL will pay for it.
I call that black privilege.
It's not black privilege. It's white people that play the NFL that got a chance to take advantage of these privileges.
Michael's in the super chat. Never here live, but I appreciate all that y'all do. Thank you for being
Thank you,
here.
Michael.
We love you. Texas Boy 69 is also in the super chat,
Scroll up.
but I can't see what it says. It's just Texas Boy 69 in the super chat. Just gave us $5.
Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, shout out to you.
That goes to therapy.
Okay, so are the Cowboys going to be different this offseason than they were last offseason? They got the Osa deal done before free agency starts. That's good. Shout out to Osa. I don't want to be negative about anybody, but when you look into his contract, he left some things on the table.
A lot.
He left some things on the table.
A lot.
When you're going to get franchise tagged, the starting point for a contract is usually that amount, plus if you had to tag me again, and we work from there.
Yep.
And he took significantly less than that in his first 2 years for his security. So either whoopsie on his agent or shout out to Osa saying, I know, but this is fine. And
he was
I liked
saying
it
what
here.
CeeDee said. I want to win.
He
I
wants to
guess.
win.
I guess.
So CeeDee Lamb fired off a tweet because we've been talking about this for months. This is going to happen with Dak too. The route to the Cowboys signing people if they want to is restructuring the contract of CeeDee Lamb and of Dak Prescott, which is going to free them up like $50 million extra to go sign players.
Okay, before you get into this.
Yes.
Because I saw all over Twitter yesterday, and it was surprising. I thought I missed something. Like, I get back on Twitter, and I see everybody like having like this party, and this is not a shot at anyone, but they're like, oh, you know, the Cowboys are doing numbers, and the Cowboys are doing this, and it was like this exciting overflow of things. And I thought that I actually missed something, because
you did miss something.
We talked about this months before. We showed you that they were going to be able to free up $100 million worth of money by restructuring some contracts. Now, you'll get more into how they probably should change the wording in restructuring, because there was never really a restructure that actually happened for guys like CeeDee, and like Dak's contract was already set to be about to what's happened, was set to do that long before we got to this point. But it made me pause for Cowboy fans, and I even want to harken back even further. We always talk about Jerry selling the hopium.
Yeah.
And you saw, I think it was Nesto talked about it early on. It was like talking about quitting this team, and you were done with this team. And the Cowboys did nothing in yesterday's operation of re-signing Osa, signing CJ Goodwin for $1.2 million.
I mean, whatever it is, CJ
Hoffman,
Goodwin is making a hell of a living off running down on kickoff.
You know, and Hoffman signing for $1 million and some change.
Yeah.
Nothing about that made this team better. You signed some players that you wanted to bring back. Okay, cool. But it reminds me a little bit that sometimes Cowboy fans are victims.
Stop it.
No. When you're abused.
Oh, crap.
When you're abused for a very long time.
Yeah.
Anything feels like love.
Oh, man.
And so you begin to you begin to cheer things that shouldn't be cheered. It's like when kids go, well, I cleaned my room, I should get dessert.
You should.
Or I was good at school today. No.
Ice cream for you?
That's not. You're supposed to be good at school. That's what you're supposed to do. We're not rewarding for things that you're actually supposed to do. And so I got online. I was just like, man, what did I miss? And it was just the hopium that people were injecting back into their veins.
I think it was CeeDee's fault.
And the abuse that they've so long suffered from, that this feels like love.
I think it was CeeDee's fault.
Or it was CeeDee's fault.
Because here's what happened, okay? I've been telling y'all for a while how the offseason is going to go, because it's what every team does. When you sign guys to long-term contracts, there are things that are already in the contract that just says, in this year, if we want to, we can just go and move.
Your snaps weak.
And move. That was a good-ass snap.
A weak snap. Oh, that was a good snap. You changed hands. See, that left snap.
Is a little better.
Yeah. And it's also, for the record, we learned this from Kit Kat a long time ago. When you snap, it's not actually the fingers that make the noise.
No.
It's when it hits the palm.
It's hitting the thickie.
Shout out to Kit Kat for letting us know that when you snap, it's the palm that makes the sound.
What happened is somebody tweeted to CeeDee, because it was announced that they had restructured CeeDee Lamb's contract, and now they have more cap space if they want to go sign players, right? Which sounds like, hell yeah, shout out to CeeDee.
Right.
Being willing to do that for the team.
Right.
And so somebody tweeted, such a dumb move. Can I ask why? And I don't know what would make it dumb either, but CeeDee responded, I want to win. It's going to take more than just myself. And so, what a hero. That he took a pay cut.
Sure.
Because he wants to win. Okay, so what actually happened is literally nothing.
Nothing.
Like, CeeDee didn't have a dollar moved from his left to right pocket. He did not get a check today. Nothing has changed about how he'll be paid or when in any way, shape, or form. Nothing has changed. They're just built into... And I will say this. It is stupid that the NFL runs this way, and I don't like it about any sport. Fortunately, we do enough footballing that I know the NFL's salary cap. It's dumb that it's something that you need to know, and most fans don't, and you shouldn't, because why the hell would I care? I want to watch the sport. Right. I want to love the sport. I want to talk about the players. They freed up salary cap space with CeeDee Lamb with something that was already built into the contract that was always going to be done, which was all they do is they take money that was called salary and now it's called a bonus, but it's not paid as a bonus. Like that amount was not then written as a check to CeeDee. All they're doing is moving when things are accounted for on a spreadsheet. CeeDee did nothing. He had nothing to do with it. He doesn't have to approve it.
They didn't consult him. They didn't call him. Nothing.
They don't call him to do this. The Cowboys literally pulled up a spreadsheet and said, change that number and move it there. So now you have more money to spend. He'll count more on your salary cap in future years, just not this year, so that they can do this. It's going to happen with Dak Prescott too. So people make sure that when they pull the Dak trigger to save $37.196 million in cap space this year, when they pull that trigger, make sure you tweet Dak, thank you for being so selfless and taking your $37 million pay cut, which he's not, or getting your $37 million bonus check, which he's not. They're just moving money because that's what teams do to be able to go sign players and have an offseason. So CeeDee didn't do anything, but I love that he pretended that he did, because this is what the Cowboys do. The Cowboys love to say that I can't do this because of this or I can't do that because of that. So I love that one of the best players is going to take credit and pretend that he did something when all it is an accounting move that was already in his contract. I want to win. It's going to take more than just myself. That's why I did this. He didn't do anything.
What's even more amazing is that CeeDee Lamb came to Twitter to do it.
Yeah.
He's never on Twitter. He's not CeeDee Lamb is not a podcast guy. He's not a Twitter guy. He'll give you an Instagram type photo every now and again when he's working out, right? Like he'll give you like the caption when he's working out or a video when he's working out. Yeah. But for him to come to Twitter and do it is even more funny, because that makes it even more, the intentionality of the self-serving of what he did is beautiful.
No, I love it. And that's beautiful. And now I have my my Methy Jeffrey take on this. Well, I couldn't do messy because I'm Messy Jesse.
But you could do Messy Jeffrey, because if you do methy, it sounds like you're doing like Methy Jeffrey.
Methy.
I was like, wait.
I am an addict.
No, you're not an addict. Stop. Not a meth addict.
I am an
not a meth.
Like meth. He did agree to the contract, though. That's a standard NFL contract. Every NFL contract that is a multi-year deal has these things built into them. It's just what NFL contracts are. But I do love it, because the Cowboys, when they are negotiating with their players, boy, they love to leak some stuff out where David Moore is going to write something about how, well, and if you did this for this guy, and it's like they do these little teardown things to try to get their numbers to agree to a lower contract. So the Cowboys are always working against their best players when it's contract time. So I love just taking credit for something you didn't do as a player. But my Methy Jeffy is I do love the idea, because like CeeDee has tweeted twice in the last month.
That's what I'm saying.
And one was a terrible aggregator on the internet who no one should follow, saying that the Cowboys have had internal discussions about the possibility of trading Micah Parsons. And CeeDee said, y'all not tired of this? Every offseason, top of the charts. Let's just win ball games. And that's with 11, SMH. And then this one, I want to win. It's going to take more than just myself. I have created in my mind the idea that this is an effort from Micah and CeeDee, the best players who have recently been paid and about to be paid, to put pressure online on the Cowboys to have real free agency and to help them win. So it doesn't have to be true. Like CeeDee did nothing,
right?
But it gave him an opportunity to say, I want to win. It's going to take more than just myself. And then Micah trying to say, I want to get this done, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get this deal done. It's up to them. And then they need to, like, the best players are finally being vocal about, because fans have gotten smarter in the digital age. There are websites that tell you how salary caps work. Right. And the players now know why the Eagles were better than them, because their front office and ownership approaches things in an aggressive way and cuts the checks.
Which, by the way, they just made another aggressive move yesterday.
Saquon Barkley just got an extension, which lines him up with, he's now lined up with the rest of them.
Yeah.
He's now lined up where in 2029, they're going to eat $180 million. But
they're going to go get, they're going for another championship.
But for a half decade, they're
Jesse
going.
sent that in the group chat.
They're all
Jesse, Jeff does not need this today. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, when the Saquon thing happened, everybody was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And I'm like, he'll probably never see the money on those extensions. Right. And even if he does, all they did was now get him in line with everyone else. All of their key players' contracts run out at the same time. They all have fake years afterwards. In 2029, if they still have good young players, they'll just extend more of them and keep the thing going. But if not, they'll eat it for 1 year and then they'll reboot and do the same thing. Anyway, so CeeDee didn't do anything, but the Cowboys are set up now to have an offseason and use free agency. You can see that because Osa just got a contract that is $20 million a year. That counts $6 million in the first year. So if you have $80 million in contract and in space, you know what you can do? You could sign a bunch of one-year deals that add up to $80 million, or you could sign a bunch of guys that make infinitely more than that, and it will only count that much this year, and you could sign studs. That camera? I never know how to do the cameras.
It's that camera.
I never know.
So you're right.
Can we get lights on the cameras? Can we get lights on the cameras?
It's a vibe.
We need lights on the camera so you know which one
it's a vibe program.
You're on. Okay. Coming up next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast, the dream of that certain player to the Cowboys, I do believe, is dying and becoming less likely, and we'll get to that next on the Cowboys DLLS podcast.
Where am I? I'm here, right here. Yeah, that's
so you're there, but I'm
not. Yeah, we're right. I'm here. Hey, if you want to be here, here's how you do it. You go to Game Time. You download the Game Time app and use the promo code DLLS, and you too can get $20 off your first purchase. Now, I know if you're in the DFW, the sporting realm might not be as exciting, but that's okay. You can still go to Game Time and go to plays, to go to concerts, to go to comedy shows, or a host of other things. It's not just for games, but if you happen to go, click on it, and it will tell you the exact seat where you're sitting. It shows you a view too. And about the pricing, when your pricing goes from up here, or from down here to up here to other ticket sites, don't worry about that. What you see is what you pay on Game Time. So head over there right now, download the app, use the promo code DLLS, and get $20 off your first purchase. What time is it?
Game time. Shout out to our friends at HelloFresh as well, where you can get farm fresh, pre-portioned. What camera? That one? That one?
Right here.
Right there.
Right there.
Pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. I love HelloFresh because I hate the grocery store. Why? Because I'm a basket guy. I believe in carrying the basket. I don't believe in pushing the cart, which means I don't end up with that many groceries. Which
Do you
means
hold it?
I got to come back.
Are you under?
I hold that bad boy like this, and then I end up with stuff in my left hand that didn't fit in the basket, but I'm not getting a cart. HelloFresh, you don't have to worry about all that nonsense. If you're tired of figuring out what's for dinner night after night, especially on the busy weekdays, get dinner done the easy way thanks to our friends at HelloFresh. Their lineup of prep and bake meals come together with minimal mess and only 5 minutes of prep, so your oven does most of the work, not you. Their 15-minute meals are done in just 3 simple steps, so you can eat better this year without all the hassle. Get up to 10 free meals and a free high-protein item for life at HelloFresh.com/Cowboys10FM. 1 item per box. With active subscription, you need to go to HelloFresh.com/Cowboys10FM. All right, there is a guy that I know a lot of Cowboy fans are hoping that the Cowboys are going to add to their football team, and I just want to let you know that I think it's becoming more and more unlikely by the day, and I think the dream might be over. Although we're going to mock draft later, and we'll see what happens. We're going to mock draft later and see what happens. But a lot of people want to see Ashton Jeanty, the Boise State running back, running behind the Cowboys' offensive line, changing the world, making things easier on the quarterback, out there crushing it. He's a wonderful player. But I think because of something that happened in the NFL over the last 48 hours, maybe 36 hours, I think I know where Ashton Jeanty's going, and I think it's before the Cowboys pick. The Chicago Bears have a new head coach, Ben Johnson from Detroit.
Go Heels. We don't give enough credit to the University of North Carolina, but a lot of great things are coming out of that university that are giving people a lot of life all across this country, including on this show right here.
Yeah, Michael Lombardi's there now.
Damn.
The GM of the football team with Bill Belichick. But anyway, the Bears, what they are doing is, I think they're doing a Jesse Holley approved plan. I think they're setting up their team to go get the dominant running back, because the Bears' offensive line last year wasn't good enough. So what have they done? They have a quarterback on a rookie contract. They got monies to spend. They made 2 trades. One with the Kansas City Chiefs for Joe Thuney, who is a stud guard. So they trade for Joe Thuney from Kansas City, and they traded for Jonah Jackson from the Rams, And the Bears went from bad interior offensive line to very good interior offensive line like that.
That was solid.
I went a
That
double.
was solid.
I went with a double.
That was solid.
So they are attacking their offensive line through trades because they have the money, no problem. They want to block better for the quarterback. And I think that makes the Bears a very strong candidate that when it's time for the 10th pick, they go, well, we got the line for him.
Mm-hmm.
We got the quarterback. Let's put the monster behind him and take the pressure off. They're building a line to draft Ashton Jeanty.
When you think about teams, you know, especially those teams that play in that type of weather, outdoor stadiums, it's going to be a physical brand of football. And you look where Ben Johnson came from, right? Like when Ben Johnson was at his best, they had the two-headed monster. They had Sonic and Knuckles, right?
David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs.
And they had arguably, if not 1A, 1B offensive lines in the league. That's where it starts at. It starts up front. And then now is when you can go and say, now I'll go get that guy. He now will make my football team better because we're able to do what we need to do in the trenches. And I'm not going to be mad that Ashton Jeanty is going to the Chicago Bears because I want the idea of him coming to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, let me say this. Let me
say it.
Let me say this.
Say it.
If all the excitement about all the money that the Cowboys are freeing up in the coming days and or weeks, the Cowboys decide, you know what? We are going to also bolster our offensive line. And they go and make some trades or they go and sign some free agents to really show up their offensive line. Now I'm all back. Now my tune will change. My tune will change about drafting Ashton Jeanty at number 12. But if you stay pat and you don't do a single thing further to your offensive line until you get to the draft, then I'm out.
And I think that I think we're getting to a world where I can do who is it? We'll meet in the middle. It's an old country song. We'll meet in the middle neath that old Georgia pine. I am the running back hater.
You are?
That's what I do. I love the running back, but I hate the running back.
You love the person, hate the position.
And I love the position. I hate premium assets for the position because of the opportunity cost of what did you not pick there. And then when you tried to pick that other position later, what could you have picked at running back? It's just the easiest job to fill. But I do want to be great at it. And so I'm going to meet the running back lover in the middle here.
Who's the running back lover? Because don't put that on me.
The general population.
Okay.
Gen Pop. And because I saw a tweet that I agree with. I believe it was Sam Monson. I don't know. He used to be at Pro Football Focus. I don't think he is anymore. But I'm going to read a tweet that I totally agree with. Giants didn't want to go above $12 million a year 12 months ago. Eagles just broke $20 million a year. And the funny thing,
it better be funny,
is I think both may be correct. Saquon Barkley wasn't worth $12 million a year to the New York Giants because they were not equipped for him to kick ass for them.
Correct.
We know because he tried for a half decade.
Right.
And he had times where he was really good. He did make big plays, but he wasn't dominating the NFL because they couldn't let him. So why? And everybody's going to make fun of them because of the Hard Knocks clip. And then he goes to the Eagles and he has such a great year. And it's like, see, the Giants screwed up. No, they didn't. He couldn't do that there. He tried for a half decade. And so that is where I will meet.
Well, the Giants did screw up because they gave the money to Daniel Jones instead of taking that money that they could have used to actually help in other places.
Yeah, if you want to say they screwed up by signing Daniel Jones, I think most people would agree with that because he's a bad quarterback.
Right,
but
so
they were like, well, he's a quarterback.
That does have a trickle-down effect.
But I just think that Saquon Barkley is not worth to the Giants what he's worth to the Eagles. Ashton Jeanty is not worth to the Cowboys what he would be worth to Philly, Baltimore, Detroit. Now, those teams have running backs, but the teams that have the best offensive lines in football
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Because you are set up for that dude to dominate.
But this is what I've been saying for weeks. When we brought up the Ashton Jeanty conversation, my argument has long been you don't have the setup for him to ultimately be successful. And then I get the pushback from Pop, and he goes, I want the best player on my team. And I'm like, that's cool. And will he make your team better? But you're not. Yes, he will make your team better, because when you add better players to your team ultimately becomes better, right? If you add hot chicks to your chick circle.
I can't do that anymore. You can't say that. What do you mean by circle?
Like your crew, your clique.
Okay.
Right? If you add hot girls, if you add hot dudes to your bro group, your group gets hotter. It gets more desirable.
Yes, but I do like to hang out with people who look worse than me.
See, that's self-esteem issues. That's self-esteem issues that we still need to work through therapy.
We do it all the time. We're working on it.
But the Cowboys, with Jeanty, you won't be able to maximize his skill set because you're not prepared for it with the offensive line.
Yeah.
A team like Chicago is setting themselves up, if they so choose to, draft him to be running on all cylinders for him to be at his very best. Because him at his very best allows you to be at your very best.
Yeah, no, I think that they're doing it right. I would love for the Cowboys to be, it would kill the Jeanty thing, but I would love for the Cowboys to be open to using a first-round pick on an offensive lineman. I hope they're open to it, because if you build that, then you would I think the Cowboys would run the ball better with a first-round left tackle. I'll just throw out the name, Ohio State Josh Simmons, if his knee is right. I think you run the ball better.
At the combine, he checked out.
He had positive reviews of his knee. I think you run the ball better with him at left tackle and Travion Henderson running the ball than you do with Tyler Guyton at left tackle and Ashton Jeanty running the ball. That becomes your running back challenge for our buddy Claymore, who's a good man and a smart football man. I'll have you know, there'll be more running backs taken in the first and second rounds because of Saquon. I don't think that's smart if it happens, because Saquon didn't change anything. Derrick Henry didn't change anything. They played an entire career in different cities, and they were exactly who they are. And suddenly it's like, see, I told you it matters. Yes, what matters is the team they went to gave them the ability to be who they just were.
Right.
So it's not.
But that changes something, though. That changes the way that you build your team.
I mean, it still is focusing on the line before worrying about the running back.
But that's been right. Like that's as long as we've played football, it's always been about the line. No matter how you tried to draw it up.
It's weird how people don't acknowledge that, though. Like,
it's always been about the line.
I'm going to give you a guy, and this is a bad idea to do on the DLLS Cowboys podcast. Emmitt Smith was a great running back.
Yeah.
I don't think Emmitt Smith was the best running back ever. Emmitt Smith ran behind
the Great Wall.
Monsters.
Yeah.
That is, get the monsters. Then I'll turn your running back into a monster.
Right.
Like just don't bring back Zeke. Right? Like, there is a limit to how far you can push the running backs don't matter thing. If a guy's been washed for 3 years, okay, can't do it.
Right.
But if you just go invest something, you could do it. And if the Cowboys had a badass offensive line, pop Jeanty in there. Running back, that is a great cherry on the top. The cherry on top in Baltimore, it was a cherry on top in Philadelphia. It's a great cherry on top. But Jesse told you, what about the cake? Cake. Ooh, baby, I like it.
You need the cake.
Build the O-line.
You need those cheeks up front.
Superchats. Dro knows, where's Joe on a stakeout working undercover? I do think it's possible that Joe is. The Zach Martin's retirement thing is happening right now.
You know who's in attendance to that?
Pop and Joe.
Well, those guys are, but Tony is as well. But Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, that was an offensive line. You talk about offensive line? That was an offensive line. That line had Tyron Smith. That line had Travis Frederick. Line had Ron Leary.
And Lyle Collins, back and forth.
Yeah, and that line had Zach Martin. Mm-hmm. Okay? You give me that line?
Doug Free wasn't a bum.
No. Give me that line? Whoever you put back.
Jeanty.
You put Jeanty back there? Yeah.
But that's the thing, because part of you wants to go whoever you put back there. And the other part's like, yeah, but Jeanty would dominate.
Right. Whoever you put back there going to get you 1,000 yards. Jeanty going to get you 1,700.
Yeah.
Right? He's going to get you 1,700. He's going to be a game changer.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll knock out these other super chats. We'll keep this thing going because we do have to visit with our friend Fran Duffy, the greatest draft analyst on planet Earth, I say, as we are getting ready for the draft combines over all those things. The great Fran Duffy joins us next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast.
Spring football practice has taken its first days here. The NCAA tournament is right around the corner. What do you need for your game room? Saturday Neon.
Yeah, you do.
You need these prolific signs. They have over 50 of the major college football, well, college in general, not just football, but you can get your North Carolina, you can get your Texas, you get your A&Ms. You can't get Abilene Christian. Those don't apply.
There's no reason to say that, though.
I'm just saying, for those
and you don't know that. Let me check.
No, they don't.
I'm going to check.
You can check again.
I'm going to check.
But all you got to do is go to SaturdayNeon.com and use the promo code DLLS, and you can get 10% off. These LED lights last forever, over 100,000 hours. That's about 12 years. So your college team can get good, bad, and good again, and you'll still have your Saturday Neon light. Get it for your game room, your she shed, your man cave, whatever it is. Head to SaturdayNeon.com, use the promo code DLLS, and get 10% off one of these great collegiate lights.
You're right. There's no ACU.
Yeah, there's no ACU.
But they got Appalachian State. They got Colorado State.
Yeah.
Let's get some ACU in there, baby. Shout out to our friends at Sleeper as well. It's my favorite app. I love the Sleeper app. There's nothing that makes me more excited than a game that I might not have a ton of interest in becoming very interesting. And that's what happens when I make picks. I'm just trying to make these picks, baby. You think somebody's going to have more points than they're projected to, more rebounds, more assists, or less. You can go less. You can do some hating. It's not football season, but we got lots of sports out there for you to make picks on. And the more picks that you combine with our friends at Sleeper, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. Right now would be a great time for LeBron and Luka to say more than. I think last night they went for about 65 combined, about 30 assists, about 700 rebounds.
They went off.
But yeah, those are the picks you make with our friends at Sleeper. Use the promo code DLLS Boys, and you'll get $55 in free entries when you place a $5 contest. Check out Sleeper today. All right, let's go see what Fran's up to. Let's see what the great Fran Duffy's up to.
Hit that like button.
Hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed. And then we are going to check in with Fran Duffy, who kicks ass and take names when it comes to the NFL draft. It's a great time to sign up to be a diehard, which I'll tell you about in a minute, especially during draft season, because you will have access to Fran's guide, rankings, scouting reports, all of the things. He's got a helmet in the background that just says draft. That's a hell of a team to be on. I'm on team draft.
Team draft.
Hey, Fran Duffy.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
We're good.
We chilling.
Is that a hoodie or is that a jacket over a shirt?
It is a hoodie. Got my
Right.
the PHLY hoodie. We do have a shirt underneath.
Let's
It's a little
go.
breezy outside today.
Let's
a little breezy
go.
outside, so we need the multiple layers.
Yes.
It's not raw dogging. That's good.
No. Fran's team. He knows. He knows what the deal is. Even if he does, he knows when he comes on this show.
Yeah.
We don't allow
it. Fran, earlier in the show, I can't come up with a word for it, so I'll just skip all of that. I was looking at what Chicago has done on the offensive line, and I've announced to the world that the Cowboys can no longer have Ashton Jeanty because it looks like the Bears, after building that offensive line, in my brain, it makes sense to plug behind rookie contract quarterback, revamped offensive line, go get the horse. Do you think that I'm crazy for saying that Ashton Jeanty is out and we can't have him?
I don't think you're crazy for saying that the Cowboys are out, but I'm doing my mock draft right now. I'm doing my post-combine mock draft. It's going to be a 3-rounder that'll be up on DLLS here this week, over the next couple days. I've got Ashton Jeanty going off the board before the Chicago Bears pick at 10.
Is it the Raiders?
It is going to be the Raiders. I personally don't love that, but you know what I can't get out of my head is listening to the introductory press conference with Pete Carroll and John Spytek, the new general manager, and Pete Carroll saying that everywhere I've been, it was we built it up and it took us a few years to get there. He's like, that is not what we're doing here. We are going to hit the ground running and we're going to build this thing to win right now. He's the oldest coach in the NFL. Pretty sure he's being hired as the oldest NFL coach in league history.
I forgot he got hired.
He's not there for a 5-year rebuild. He's there to try and get going. So my guess is that Ashton Jeanty, as we sit here right now, he makes the most sense for them at pick number 6.
Oh, Pete's there for a good time, not a long time.
I mean, he looks young though. That chewing gum burns calories. I think Pete's in a good place.
Yeah. Fran, talking about your post-draft mock-up, give me 2 guys who went into the draft went into the combine kind of like, came out of the combine with a whole new set of eyes on them, looking at them and saying, these guys really helped themselves and moved themselves up the draft board, made themselves some money.
Yeah, for me, Jesse, the combine is all about expectations, right? We talked about that when I was out there last week. That it depends on what your thought was of a player going in, and that might change the lens with which you focus on him coming out. For me, Nick Emanwari, the safety from South Carolina, he was a top 15 player for me going into the week. Was not that case for most people, but I think after watching the big safety from South Carolina test, everyone's like, oh, like that he's pretty athletic, huh? And the guy is a freak show athlete, a guy that can do anything that you need at the safety spot in today's NFL. I do think he's the modern strong safety, and that he can match up against tight ends, he can play deep, he can play down close to the line, do everything that you need at that spot. Would not shock me if he's the first safety off the board. But honestly, I have him and Malachi Starks, the safety from Georgia. Both those guys are top 15 players for me. So I think when you look at those two in this class, I think people now are kind of catching up to what Emanwari is here in the structure of this entire group.
Fran, when you're putting your draft board together, give me a percentage of what you see on tape compared to what you see as far as at the draft and at the pro days. Like, how do you kind of put that together to make your professional opinion on a certain player? How much is tape and how much is the combine type numbers?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the athletic testing numbers, all of that can serve as, I don't want to say like a tiebreaker, because that might be even just making it too granular, but that's a way to kind of separate players that are close together, right? And I think that when you're trying to determine what the athletic upside is of any given player, I'll be doing my first big board for the site here in a couple weeks, and when I do that, I'll kind of go through how it is that I tier players personally, and it is very connected to how I project a player going to the league and how that player, that role, gets paid in the NFL in the pro market, right? And so if I believe that, a safety is a third safety in the league, and I think he's a third safety, comes on and sub, maybe he's a big nickel player, right? You think of what Malik Hooker was when he first got to Dallas, right? So he comes off all right, he got paid, I want to say it was in a $2.5-3 million range. If that's the way that I peg this player, we'll say he's a safety from Montana. All right, I peg him as this kind of player. Well, that's going to determine what that bucket is, right? And now if I've got 6 players in this bucket, maybe that's where the athletic testing comes into play, and that can help separate the guys that are within that same bucket, if that makes any sense, Jesse. So it is definitely a portion, but for me, the film is always king, and that is going to dominate what I see and how I project these players going to the NFL. And I always bake that stuff in, right? I expected Nick Emanwari to test well. The test numbers that were being reported about him were freak show test numbers. So I already had him high based off of that, knowing what the athletic upside was there.
Don't count it twice.
A small portion, but it's part of it.
That's the don't count it twice rule.
Exactly.
If you knew somebody was fast and he runs fast, he doesn't move up. You already wrote it down. You already had it.
And it works the other way too, right? Where it's all right, I'm not expecting this guy to test well. So if he doesn't test well, I'm not going to knock him for that either, right? And so it works both ways.
So I want to go back to, because you mentioned the South Carolina safety who had a great combine, and I think most people expected him to. And yep. I want to tie that into a couple of different guys. And how do people's draft stock get affected when we thought a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago, that the corner at Michigan, Will Johnson, the safety at Georgia, Malachi Starks, before college football was even played this past season, those guys were top 5 prospects. Then the season happens, and whether it is tape, and then injury, and other guys show up and have better seasons on the football field. How much are guys able to retain the fact that as 19 and 20-year-olds, the whole world could see, oh, wow, that's a dude. And then we're now a year down the road. How much can a guy like Malachi Starks, who didn't have a great combine, or a guy like Will Johnson, whose tape to me was but he's still the human and the prototype that you've seen play great football. How much are they able to hold that stock, or how much is it able to slip?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's, to me, like one of the things that I find to be the most fascinating about the team building process, the player selection process. When you're talking about talent acquisition, all of those like preconceived biases absolutely can anchor where a player starts in terms of the evaluation, right? And so you may have, and this is for everybody. This is for a general manager. This is for an area scout. This is for a position coach. This is for us on the outside, right? Like all of those preconceived biases can creep into the evaluation and into the projection. And so it's up to each individual in terms of how much that is going to anchor you and hold you to that spot. Me personally, when I'm looking at guys, I want to take the whole body of work. And so, yes, the recency bias can come into effect, but then also you don't want to forget, like, hey, like Will Johnson. Some people had Will Johnson as a top 5 player, to your point. The corner from Michigan had him as a top 5 player. I was a little down on him coming into the season compared to consensus. I didn't have him quite as high as everybody else. The run defense issues that people pointed to this year, to me, I saw that last year on film as well when they went on that national title run.
Will Johnson's tackling technique is to try to cut block the guy with the ball.
Yeah, which typically does not go great once you get to the NFL. It was a hit or miss proposition for him when he was in the Big Ten. Once you get to the league, that typically doesn't go well. And I know that it's like, hey, we pay these guys to cover. In today's league, with like the RPOs and the bubble screens, you need those guys to be able to tackle, or else the offenses are targeting them. Timing, that's part of the game plan going in. So, I do that is something that I certainly value. But yeah, now people are pointing to that, and especially given the fact that it was an injury-shortened season for him. There's been a lot of like whisper, a lot of like, could he have come back? Did he only not come back just because the season wasn't going well for Michigan? All that stuff, kind of in the background. But to me, like, you always want to take everything into the Quinn Ewers is a great example, but you have to bring all of this. It's all a part of the puzzle, and that's why the whole like scouting and talent evaluation projection, it's an art, not a science.
Fran, when you're putting, like, this is like a personal question as you're going through all of this, right? Like, and
manscaping.
Well, wait,
you said personal.
Yeah, this is like his personal thought process on how he builds out his board.
Exactly.
Because do you hear and see what other people are saying? Does that influence you? Or are you kind of like, I'm locked in, I got my blinders on, this is my approach, this is the way I do it, this is how I evaluate, and I'm not moved either way by what I may see elsewhere or hear elsewhere. I'm strictly sticking to my guidelines.
Yeah, I'm very much in the latter, portion where I am going to focus in on like this. This is what I deem important. This is what, to me too, Jesse, like, as much as like this is my first time kind of where I'm going to be full time into the NFL draft, but I will always make it a point to be watching NFL tape throughout the fall, because to me, it's not just, like I'm watching college and who are the best guys on tape, but it's also like having a full understanding of what is it that plays in the league, and not just, here are the top 5 guys that had sacks last year. Let me watch all the guys, let me watch Nick Bosa and Micah Parsons and Donnell Hunter and all these guys. But what does a third defensive end look like in the NFL? What does a fifth corner look like in the NFL? Having that full understanding is really important. It sets that rubric for myself, which again, I'll kind of explain further once my big board comes out in a couple of weeks. But I have to keep the blinders on and stay true to myself. I've been doing this now for 15 years, writing reports on players. And so often there would be guys where I'm like, man, like I know like everybody else is saying this about a player, but I just don't see it, or I see this. And then it comes to, and I've been, not to say that I'm right every single time, you know what I'm saying, where there would be times where, man, I was higher on this player than everybody else had him, but I just didn't quite trust myself. I would have had him up here, right? And so, those are the things that you kind of learn from early on. And again, you're not going to bat 1,000. That's just the nature of this. But to me, it is so important to to give your 100%. I mean, look, people are paying to be diehards because they don't want to see consensus rankings. Maybe they do, but honestly, like if I'm paying my money to get somebody's opinion, I want their opinion, not everybody else's opinion. And so for me, I will always stay true to that. You won't catch me like sticking with groupthink and saying like, oh well, Dane and DJ and Mel Kiper, like they have this guy as a number 3 defensive tackle, so I got to put him up there too. That's not going to be the way that I ever operate.
This is the least confident I've ever been putting a wide receiver class in order ever.
Yep.
And with the Cowboys picking at 12, honestly, there's not a guy that I love to take with that pick. And understand that I'm a receiver guy. I played receiver and I was this close to the NFL. I was that close to the NFL, so I know what I'm saying.
You were all over CeeDee Lamb.
Dude, my dog is named CeeDee. I was restarting simulators that year that let CeeDee get to 17. I was like, that's dumb. He's the best receiver in the draft. There's no chance. And then I had a party when they drafted him. So I got one right. But so like Teteroa McMillan is that's to a lot of people.
That Sky Moore pick.
The Sky Moore wasn't great. Neither was Laquan Treadwell. You got to own your stuff. I didn't know Laquan Treadwell had to be told what to do on every play, and that's why he lined up on his own sideline in college for every snap. But like Teteroa McMillan's not testing while other guys did. When I already had some reservations about him, like I'm looking at 12. I want to compliment to CeeDee Lamb, and I don't love any of the options. Are there guys that you are comfortable and confident saying at 12 wide receiver that you would think that's a good pick?
In my first mock draft in January, as soon as we got into the meat of the playoffs, I mocked them Luther Burden. He was my wide receiver 1 coming into the year, and he has been. And Jesse, this goes perfectly with your last question. He has been progressively dropping down a lot of analyst boards and dropping out of the first round altogether. And I'm going to be honest, like when I talk with people that have evaluated his tape from this year, I know the production has gone down, and I've done some of the tape. I haven't gone through every single target, so that'll be something that I'm doing here in the coming days and weeks. But when you go through Luther Burden, like I just see a guy that can not only take the top off and be a vertical threat down the field, but he's so explosive after the catch. He's a violent player, fearless over the middle of the field. Doesn't put the ball on the ground. I watched his workout last week. Every single snap of the workouts last week, and I thought he had one of the best positional workouts of any of the receivers. He tested well. Checked all those boxes. So when I see other guys in the industry that are dropping him down, I started texting people, and it's like, all right, well, are you hearing anything? Is there something behind the scenes that I'm missing, right? Because that's obviously important to what you just said about Treadwell, right? It's like, all right, like you want to be able to have that full picture. But on film, to me, like Luther Burden is a great player to pair with CeeDee Lamb because he's got that ability to line up inside or outside. He can be used vertically. He can be used underneath. So however you want to use CeeDee, well, now you've got Burden to kind of complement that. T-Mac is an interesting one just because of the size, and people are going to question what the athleticism ultimately is. He's so strong through contact, which is something that I do value at the position. I do think that he made strides as a route runner this year, but the athleticism is always going to be a question. He was a guy I compared to Cortland Sutton, who is, Cortland Sutton's a damn good receiver, right? And, some people have called him like a Diet Coke version of Drake London. I actually like him a little more than I liked Drake London coming out of USC. So, I'm probably lower than what the consensus is on T-Mac, but I'm not a complete hater of his game either. At 12 overall, it might be a little rich.
Fran, you're a beast. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good, guys. Talk next week.
That's Fran Duffy. He joins us every week, every Wednesday, right there at 11:30, and he's an absolute beast at the NFL Draft, which is an easy transition into what I need to tell you about as we head into our final segment of the DLLS Cowboys podcast. Want you to sign up to be a diehard. I almost wore my green shirt today, too, which we're trying to push right now. But
Patty's.
I had a stain on it. Was a stain on it.
You got French onion dip on there, pizza?
I don't know what it was, but I had a stain on it.
Where at on the shirt did you have a stain?
Dead across the chest.
Across the chest?
Across the chest. Don't know.
I can go multiple different ways.
Anyway, we want you to sign up to be a diehard. Now's a great time, especially with the draft going on and Fran's stuff being on there. And we have our incredible spring training intro offer, $48 to be a diehard. That's for a year, which gets you an ad-free experience on the website, which gets you access to the diehard level content for every DFW sports team. We got beat writers for every team. And it's not just writing stuff. You get a free t-shirt when you sign up from our merch store, which is badass merch.
About $30 right there.
About $30 right there on that t-shirt. And then you also, you see the St. Patty's stuff and also, I know what y'all are doing coming up here this, what is that, next weekend? What's today? Yeah, next, not this, but next.
It's a lot of drinking going on in March. Fat Tuesday was yesterday. You got
you want to wear your green.
St. Patty's Day coming up, Mardi Gras, all that kind of other good stuff. St. Patrick's Day.
I wonder who St. Patrick was and what he did. Like, was he the saint who was like, beer? Like, because that's what we do with it.
You're about to offend a lot of Irish people, right?
I'm Irish. I'm allowed to. That's the rules,
All right,
right?
You're good then. Yeah. You're Irish.
Kavanaugh's Irish.
Go have it.
A descendant of Irish kings.
Sign
up to be a diehard. You get access to all of our kick-ass draft stuff. You get that free T-shirt. You get 20% discount on merch. You get 20% discount on events. You get access to our Discord server where we're all hanging out and having a good time outside of the shows. So all those things are great. And the spring training intro offer gets you, I don't know, what is that, 40-ish% off? So you want to sign up now or else. That's what you want to do. You can use the QR code on the screen to do it. You can go to alldlls.com/diehard. Either way works. Just sign up to be a diehard and do that, or else, which is not a threat. Now, we have a final segment. We're going to try to power through a mock draft. Let me knock out the Super Chats first so that we can make sure that all of you get your proper shine. Ham Zone, just wanted to say that this is the best show going. Love Jeff's rants on Jerry and nothing about Jesse. Keep up the good work.
It's nothing. He didn't say that.
Oh, I read into that.
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that at all.
I read into that. Claymore, birds are not celebrating for flying, neither is fish for swimming. Until Cowboys go above and beyond, i.e. signing premier free agents or trade for Myles Garrett, I won't take him seriously. Knight's in here. Picking Jeanty is a reality check that we aren't exactly a Shanahan running back factory. Yeah, I'd love to have a coach, scheme, line that just lets you play with anybody. Ham Zone. They run blocked last year pretty good. Rico ran for 1,000 and didn't give him the ball till late. Why can't they block for Jeanty? Maybe they are good enough. I just don't buy it. Like 4.6 a carry is good. I like that. I just, man for man, I don't buy it. Jeremy, which wide receiver would you draft? Trade down. Pick whichever one you want. Ibuka, Burden, Golden, McMillan. Trucker Aaron, after seeing the running backs run 40s well, I wonder how deeper is this running back class versus past. I'm down for wide receiver first, but don't want a repeat of missing backs in the draft. There's a lot of good running backs in this draft.
I don't think you can miss.
There's a lot of them.
Like I get that Jeanty thing. I don't think you can miss a back in this draft.
No, not if you're picking in the first 3. I would say 4 rounds, but they don't have a 4th round pick. You could have got Joe Tooney apparently for a 4th round pick, but instead you have, it doesn't matter. Nesto's in the chat. I figured out why Jesse be hating on players. Laurent Robinson stole that bag from him.
Boy, Nesto, if you've never told the truth, you told it today. And I don't hate on players, but I'm still salty about that bag.
Laurent Robinson did get a bag.
He got a 5 years, $30 million, about $15 million guaranteed. That was supposed to be me. I was supposed to go to Jacksonville and play in one game and never play again.
Yeah.
And get walk away with $15 million.
I was close to.
Yeah.
I was close to.
Supposed to be me.
Cowboys for life, fan talk. Do not touch Tyler Lockett. He just got released, by the way. Please. He is washed. Support and shout out Cowboys for life. Yeah, I've always liked Tyler Lockett. But yeah, people do get washed. So we may need to steer clear. But, I mean, if he's cheap, bring him in. Bring in everybody that's cheap.
Just bring back Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks, Tyler Lockett.
I'm fine.
He's either one.
Bring in Devontae Adams. Don't be cowards. We're ready. Pull up the mock draft machine. It's a mock draft Wednesday on Zach Martin retirement day. But it's weird because it was at the same time as our show. And I know it's going to be really lovely and touching. And I love Zach Martin. I can't wait to see him put on his jacket. He's a Hall of Famer. He's incredible. He's awesome. It's Jerry Jones' fault he didn't win a Super Bowl. But they're also going to be asking about Jerry and stuff. So we'll catch up on all those things. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Before we get into the mock.
Yeah.
How Jerry always says, like, I really regret not getting Tony Romo a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he should regret not getting Tyron Smith and Zach Martin.
Super Bowl. I was going to ask, I'll ask how many more names that he's going to have that conversation
Tyron, with? Zach, Frederick too, but I mean, he had a shorter career, obviously. Yeah. Where I know he got one.
Yeah.
Not here.
The Michaelis. Yeah, it is the Michaelis.
All right, we're mock drafting. And just know I can be bribed. We can be bribed. For the right super chat, I'll pick your player.
Yeah, for the right payola.
I'm just telling you.
We do things for some change.
Depending on time constraints here, we have it set up for 3 rounds. We'll see. Let's just fire off that start draft button and see what happens, Katya. Just hit that start draft. And Ken, on the left, scroll up. I want to see who got picked in what order. And I'll rapid fire them, but I got to lean forward to try to see them. Abdul Carter, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Will Campbell, Mason Graham, Armand Membo, Michael Williams, Tyler Warren, Ashton Jeanty. Is that Shamar Stewart?
Shamar Stewart.
Who's 11?
And Mike Green.
Mike Green out of Marshall. Oh, boy, we are sitting pretty. We got choices. Here's our player pool. Tetaroa McMillan, Jade Barron, the Texas corner, Malachi Starks, the Georgia safety, Jihad Campbell, linebacker at Bama, Luther Burden, Will Johnson, the Michigan corner. You're going to do some scrolling because I think that their rankings tend to suck, and there may be better players lower. Yeah, Josh Simmons, the left tackle at Ohio State. Kelvin Banks, the left tackle at Texas. Emeka Ibuka, Marion Hampton. So we have our choice of any wide receiver we want. We have Walter Nolan at defensive tackle. We have Kelvin Banks and Josh Simmons on the offensive line. We have Malachi Starks.
Who are the better of the two, Josh Simmons or Kelvin Banks?
Don't do that to me.
I'm asking a question.
Don't do that to me.
Ask the question. Because that's going to determine where we go.
I would say Josh Simmons has better, no doubt, left tackle tape. No one's going to talk about moving him. But he also has a patella that he's coming off of. And Banks could play tackle or guard. But Simmons, I would say, has better straight up, no doubt, left tackle tape.
Give me Simmons.
Take Josh Simmons.
We're doing it?
Yeah, we're going to take Josh Simmons, which means that Tyler Guyton is going to show up to camp. He's going to be like, where am I going, coach? He's going to be like, I don't care. Pick a spot. Who do you think you can beat?
All right.
The opposite of what Beyonce said. No longer to the left. To the right, to the right.
Yeah, go fight
Find
with
a
Terrence
spot
Steele.
over there. To the right.
Plus, we can save a lot of money a year from now on Terrence Steele, so you might want to get ready to take that job. All right, now we're into our second round, and we've taken an offensive lineman. Guys on the board, we may have to start flipping around for positions here, but that's high for Demetrius Knight. I need to make my own rankings and import them for draft purposes. Ayo Minor is a Stanford wide receiver that's fun. Got a little TO to him, full-size guy. Xavier Watts is a good safety. Trey Amos is a good corner at Ole Miss, but I don't think any of those guys are our pick. Shador, I don't think it's possible that he's here, but if you're just following the analysts and the experts and the whispers, it sure sounds like he may not be a top 3 or top 5 pick. It sounds that way. Other guys that I think could be quality in that spot, Alfred Collins is a wonderful nose tackle, defensive tackle at Texas, and that's about the right range for him. JT Tui, I don't know how to say his last name, at Ohio State, is a nice, well-rounded edge player. Quinshad Judkins at running back. Can you do me a favor and scroll to the very top? Go to running backs. I want to know, go to positions, and tell me what running backs are here. Scadaboo is absolutely not getting picked there.
You got Travion Henderson still there.
Travion's there. Judkins is there. Sampson is there. Caleb Johnson is there. That is a really good group of running backs. And you could go big nuts and be like, man, you know what? There is 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 guys that I like. Are all 5 of them going to go before my next pick?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Gut feeling to me, this is just not for this pick, but just for this draft. I think one of the players that are going to have a really good NFL career, Devin Neal. I don't know why. I cannot give you.
Devin Neal is the most generic, basic. He absolutely does everything exactly right running back.
I think
I don't see elite traits except for like vision, feel. Right. Like he does everything right.
Like I have a good feeling like he's going to be one of these guys we look up 10 years down and be like, he's still going strong.
He's the Frank Gore.
A Phoenix producer just DM'd me. Goes, Jeff, confirmed Scadaboo hater. I have beef with him now.
I am absolutely. If you want to know, I've been grading players for 13 years. I have Scadaboo as a 5th round guy.
He's also the one that wants to do the soft close, so let's do the soft close so we can go to round 3. Thanks for joining us.
But it's too early for that. No, okay. Thanks for joining us on the DLLS Cowboys podcast.
Eliminate the contingencies.
All right, we're in the second round.
All right.
We'll knock this out. So I'll tell you, out of this group, Quinshon Judkins, Dylan Sampson, Caleb Johnson, Travion Henderson, RJ Harvey. If we end up picking any of them, I'll give you a brief scouting report. In the third round, I would love any one of them. And we might scroll down and I'll see other names that I love. So I want to wait on running back. I want to wait on running back. And if they're all gone, then this will be a great exercise of F and pick the guy and stop hoping. I want to see the receivers.
I was about to say, yeah, let me see the
I want to see the receivers, and then I want to see the D tackles. Okay. Trey Harris. Okay.
Savion,
yeah.
I love Savion. Savion's not really a receiver yet. You're banking on a supersized Debo type player to develop into a receiver, or just use him for what he is, which is a good luck tackling that MFer. Jalen Knoll is a wonderful slot. So is Restrepo. Iomanor is the interesting one because he's an X. Like, he's a 6'2", 210-pound, but has good feet and good speed.
I remember watching him play. Yeah.
Isaiah Bond, that's too early. Boy, the receivers are going fast. Can you scroll down even more to see if they have anything totally screwed in their rankings? Okay, we're good. Back to the top. Options there would be Trey Harris at Ole Miss. That's another full-size X guy, really well-rounded. Big dude, reasonable route runner, contested, tough after the catch. So he's possible. I think you could wait on that too. So maybe we take our running back here. Let me see the D tackles. Let me see the D tackle.
Are they still doing Hurricane?
It might be listed as like interior D line, IDL or DL or DT. What is right above? Yeah, hit that one, whatever that is. I can't see it very well. All right, Alfred Collins is worth that pick. And Josh Farmer might be worth that pick. How much do you value a 330-pound, you ain't moving me MFer?
I like it. I'm a trench guy.
Take Alfred Collins.
Take him. Drop
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah. We just took Mozzie's the backup now. Immediately. God, there's too many. Oh, Jordan Birch would be awesome with this pick. And that's trenches. But we got to take a running back at some point, don't we? And a receiver. Oh, my God, we missed both. Show me the running backs. It's R.J. Harvey or Dylan Sampson. And they are both smaller, and they are exact opposites as smaller guys. I'll tell you how. Dylan Sampson, he'll make you miss in small spaces. He maximizes every single run he makes. Like,
who has the best home run speed?
R.J. Harvey.
We're going with R.J. Harvey.
So check it out. This is why they're different. Like, I think Harvey might have run a little faster 40. They both can go. Dylan Sampson is going to do exactly what he's supposed to on every play and is stronger than you would think for a 200-pound back. R.J. Harvey is a very similar build, a little bit faster, and does what Saquon did in college, which is if it's not exactly the way he likes it in that hole, he's going to see if he can run all the way to the sideline and make a home run play. But he makes a lot of them.
But that doesn't translate.
Do you want consistent, or do you want I'm going for it all?
I want consistent. Because in the league, that doesn't, like, what you realize in the league is that, they can run as fast as me too from sideline to sideline. So give me the consistent guy that's going to do what he's supposed to do more often than the guy trying to hit a home run every single play.
Both of those are good options. We haven't even looked at the wide receivers, and I already saw a defensive end in Jordan Birch that I think I have graded higher than any of those running backs. This is why you have to use free agency, because right now what I would do is take Jordan Birch. He's a 270-pound defensive end at Oregon that is more athletic than you would picture a 270-pound defensive end. And, like, I would want to put him on my football team, but I'm also looking around going, but what about the complement to CeeDee? And what about my running back? This is why we have to use free agency before we get here. Can I see the receivers real quick around them? Oh, Jalen Royals would be a good pick there too. So would Savion Williams. You pick. All I'm going to tell you is that I have Jordan Birch graded as a second-round player. Both the running backs graded as a third-round player. Royals and Williams are graded as third-round players.
Give me Savion.
Savion Williams? We're having fun now.
Give me
Savion Williams. Savion Williams is like 6'5", 225 pounds of 4.4 running, impossible to tackle, doesn't really know how to run routes. But TCU put him at running back after 7 weeks because their running back sucked, and he just went to destroying people. Super fun. All right, there you go. We did a mock.
Boom.
We mocked it, and now we don't have a running back. So
let's go, Rico.
It's going to be Rico, and we're going to take Brashard Smith out of SMU, 196 pounds of receiver in the backfield.
That's fun.
Can run fast. There, we did some stuff. New clothes for the show because we already did a fake one. Have a great day. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminate the contingencies.
We all silly like the mayor.